Hello and welcome to Hear Her Story. This is the first episode where we will hear and listen to real stories of women in our community who have changed the future of sport. My name is Laney Forsmann. I am a graduate student in the Human Performance and Sports Studies Department at Idaho State University, and I am working with the university on the National Girls and Women in Sports Day events. And I am super excited to introduce you to our first guest speaker, Tonya Wilkes. Tonya, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little more about yourself?
And Laney, I can't believe you talked me into doing this. But I'm Tonya Wilkes, and I am the Director of Athletics for Pocatello School District 25, and I oversee all the athletic departments in the schools. We have 3 high schools and 4 middle schools at this time.
Mm-hmm. So, Tonya, could you also share, how you got where you are in sport now? Was there anyone who got you here, an experience, or what was your life like in sport?
You bet, Laney. Started way young. I was really young when I was introduced to sports, and it had such an impact on me. Mm-hmm. It built my confidence. And coaches saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself, and so that started the seed. And as I'm not standing, so you can't see that. I'm barely over 5 foot. I had a lot of challenges that were not seen by coaches, and that set with me forever in life. And so I finished high school, went on to college. I was unable to play college sports, which was very unfortunate, but I got into coaching and fell in love with it, mm-hmm. which then changed my degree from engineering to education.
Yeah, wow. What a big switch there.
Right? Poor now, and just kidding. And just fell in love with kids and what we could do with sports and what we could do to help support them. It was interesting as I was a coach and a teacher. I couldn't get enough. And so I wanted to be an athletic director. And the school that I was at, was a rural school, was really good about supporting me as I was pursuing my master's, but as soon as I got my master's, really deflated in the sense of I was a woman, and to be an athletic director, they really discouraged that I would have a life. I can remember mm-hmm. the conversation with my principal. I couldn't go to Walmart because I would be constantly stopped. And so I was really shocked at that mm-hmm. response after I had pursued my master's and finished. So eventually I did move to a bigger district and continued my coaching and pursue for athletic director, and it was a completely different experience. First interview, got hired, loved my experience as athletic director at a middle school for 5 years, become a principal for 5 years, and with the knowledge of just overseeing such a big entity and having the background of coaching and participating in athletic administration in the athletic level, set me up for the district level, which is further from the kids, which scared me at first.
Yeah.
But I just had these big, wild dreams, and that was my ability to make some really big impacts mm-hmm. in women's and sports altogether.
Yeah. And I can definitely testify to Tonya's, I've seen the work that she's done. I've worked at a few of the high schools that she oversees, and the opportunity and changes that she's made to these schools have really provided athletes a lot more opportunity, and they're going to be so much more successful because of what she's done. There's also another thing I want to touch base with. I've also heard that you've kind of made some changes at the state level as well. Do you care to share a little bit more about that?
You bet. Idaho High School Athletic Association is a big entity in the state of Idaho which runs and helps solidify policies and rules throughout all of the high schools. We definitely are Idaho, so it takes us a little minute mm-hmm. to accept change or do things differently. And so I was on a couple of committees, and it kind of was the squeaky wheel to be a part of those committees to change our opportunities to bring really high-quality teams to the state level rather than where you lived by regions. And so that change actually takes place next year, which I'm really excited for.
That's super exciting.
Yes. And the other thing was, just being able to offer more opportunities for women and for anybody to participate at those different higher levels.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm super excited for the changes that are coming up this year. I wish they would have happened when I was in high school, but at least they're happening now.
Right.
Yeah, so let's get a little bit more into it. Could you kind of describe how you lead as a woman in sport? What does that look like day to day?
So, initially it was tough being the only woman. When I was the athletic director at the middle school level, when I first started about 15 years ago, I was the only woman. And then, they hired a high school female, and unfortunately she left not by her terms. And so I watched a lot of that as well. So it was hard to be a part of that and not want to make drastic changes right away, being patient and doing it right.
Yeah.
So when I did get in the position at the district level, I really led with stewardship and transformation. Stewardship is just that relationship that, I don't need to be the limelight. I don't need to have my name on anything. I want to bring out the best in people.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is making sure that we stayed focused on our why. We did things because we really did want to impact student athletes. And so we just kept focusing on that and not getting caught up on, being rivals and nitpicking on every dollar that we had available and so forth. We really did look at it as more together. And, the stewardship, I am such a big advocate of we never quit learning. I really am. And my athletic director still harassed me a little bit as of today of all the book studies we've done. And all of the Positive Coaching Alliance, motivational speakers. I just feel like we just are a sponge.
Yeah.
And our world is evolving, athletics is evolving. I get mixed up with all the Gen X and all that. Yeah, that we can't just sit back and keep doing what we're doing. And if we really do, need to evolve with that and bring out the best professionally and personally.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, change can be scary, but it also leads to so many more opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Along with that, what helps you stay motivated through all this? Like, what keeps you going?
The relationships I've built through this and watching some of the transformations being made facility-wise, athletic mindset and so forth, I really do. I see what sports can do for students and kids at all levels, at all times, even though it has evolved differently and we just, have to evolve with that.
Yeah.
But I also am very invested because I have littles. I have girls and boys coming through and they're going to be a part of that, and I just want it to be the best experience possible. I've really read this book lately, have my ADs reading it. It's called The Art, and they really talk about, it's not winning and losing, it's winning and learning. Yeah. And so it's all about our mindset and how we approach things. And man, some of these kids that get college scholarships and then they get to college and it is a different ballgame. And they aren't successful, and I want them to be successful. So give them the tools to be successful past being like the all-star player.
Yeah, and along with that, like, because sports have become so big, it becomes the athlete's whole identity. And when they get to college, it can be very confusing. So how have you seen sports evolve in college?
What I have seen is athletes can be very talented. And then in high school, they are the star and they have all of the supports and so forth, and get to college, they're not the star anymore. And maybe they're not even getting playing time, which they're never, been exposed to. And so the mental health at the college level has, we've seen spike, where there's actually positions now for mental health specialists for athletes. You have your weights coach, now you have your mental health coach. And I think it's essential. I don't know what you could pinpoint that on with social media and the pressures, or just the NIL, or the portal system. that's a lot of pressures on an 18-year-old.
Yes.
And for that, it's not just about college and being away from your family and all those, it's added to it. So that has really been eye-opening. I have a really good friend. I just got back from San Diego, and they coach soccer at Mesa College, and they used to coach actually here at Idaho State University a few years ago. And they do club and privates, and man, it's their full-time job. It's such a big business now. They've incorporated mental health. It's
really,
and that's at the high school level now as well, because they're trying to get them ready for the college. It is incredible what that has. I think we've always just been, you got to be tough. You're an athlete, you're tough. And weights, we had a coach, but we never had that mental health coach. And that has been a huge eye-opening. And part of it, too, is going through COVID and traumas and things like that. And boy, my very first year as the district athletic director was COVID. And to cancel sports and watch what that does to your community, to athletes, that was my number one goal, was to never, ever cancel anything. We didn't care what we had to do or how many times we washed our hands or wear a mask or anything, but we kept the kids moving. Yeah. And knowing that we could do that, it makes you just feel invincible now, in the sense of, you know.
Yeah,
we
that
can
was a big
anything.
win for you, even though it seemed very intimidating. And I can't imagine that being your first year. I would break down. That would be tough. That would be really tough. It's also interesting to hear you say that your friend was able to have like mental health coaches like at a high school level, because I've recently done a research project on mental health in college athletes and the effects that their coaches have on them. At least in the Division I level, there is a big division. There really isn't a ton of mental health resources out yet. Right. It's getting there. Right. We just have a long ways to go yet. So it's awesome to hear that this is even being implemented at the high school level, because high school athletics is growing a lot, and it's becoming its own monster in a way. Yeah,
it's interesting you say that, and it, like I talked about how that planted my seed, and just I knew that I wanted to be involved in sports in some way somehow, right? I had a little bit of an engineering why for a minute, but we had motivational speakers each year as I become the district athletic director, just to help coaches get motivated with the times and things and changing, and every one of them focused on mental health with the Positive Coaching Alliance. And we had an Olympic athlete talk to us about how her foundation was her middle school track coaches. Wow. She competed at the Olympic level, but she still goes back to what she learned in middle school. And so it doesn't matter what level you coach, you can make a difference. You can plant a seed and it will grow. Right? And so I think it's just, you have to take the whole child and really embrace it and help them fulfill in every avenue, not just sports. And that's hard as a coach, especially D1, when your whole career in life,
that's so hard.
depends on your win or loss, right? If you win or learn, but it is really hard. But if you want the full potential, you need to focus not only their, weights coach, but their mental health coach.
I think it's like fulfilling too. Like you see that athlete go from junior high, middle school track to becoming an Olympic athlete. Like even for you as a coach, like that is a big moment for you too. And it's super fulfilling in that way. Along those lines, is there any other changes you want to see in sport for women? Or is there any specific person that you're really excited about in sport right now?
I think the biggest impact that I think girls need to really focus on is how one person, Caitlin Clark, has impacted just being herself. You don't have to have the perfect form. You just have to be yourself and love something.
Yeah, that's
she
huge.
loves the sport. It's not about the winning team. It's not about, she just loves the sport, and everything else just falls into place. And to just know that even today we can change things. You feel like everything's been done, and man, what she's done for women's sports is pretty phenomenal. And we saw that in soccer a few years ago, right? I think it was 2000, I don't know, maybe 2 or 1. But anyway, the World Cup, like, that was a huge,
it's,
you know, that's
it's not only gaining like national attention, it's gaining global attention, which is really awesome to watch.
Yes. And I love like her, like she talks about how she was multi-sport and things like that. She wasn't totally living up all the hype and getting caught up into social media and the money, and she really stayed authentic and to herself, which is huge. Girls can learn so much from that.
Yeah, I think that's something that many people today struggle with. They just want to go with what's new, what's trending, and sticking to what you believe in and who you are will also get you a long way these days. And it's much better for your mental health, I think, too, in the long run. So
I think, you know, the things that I foresee that just needs more and more education is parents. Parents have access to so much information now, YouTube, coaches, clubs. They forget to be the parent.
I'm sure this is a lot more intensified, too, at the high school level because high school athletes are minors, so obviously their parents are still very involved. Is there any specific instances that you've had that's really stuck with you?
I always, you know, I deal with parents in all different levels, not just athletics, but an education level, too, and I always respect a parent doing the best they can. They only have so many tools, right? And their love for their child, the more boisterous they are, you know that there's some deep love. So that needs to be heard. But in that same aspect, we could learn as parents as well. Like, it is difficult to not coach your child. It is difficult not to bring it home to the dinner table, but that child needs a break. They have a coach. And it is difficult to not, you know, share your frustrations. But the mental health of a child dealing with a parent that is so involved is getting more and more. And I don't know if it's because there's more videos of it, and so you're repeating it, or, you know, you just want the best for your child, so you're trying to give them every avenue. Part of, you know, being the best athlete is going through hardships, struggling, having a bad coach and working through that. And that is so difficult as a parent. I was a parent, and I was the athletic director. And, you know, my child was multi-sport. In one sport, she was the star, and she excelled. One sport, she never got on the field. And I had to work hard not to share my thoughts and opinions and not to bring it home at the table, not to be in the stands. That's not what she needed from me. What she needed from me is just to be there. And to be her mom and to remind her that sports aren't her whole complete identity. That what she learns from sports is the most important piece. So it is difficult, but that I feel like is the learning and growth that we could do.
I think that can like almost like go like in the same way like a coach, like they need to be their coach, but these days they also need to be a little more than a coach. Balancing that is difficult, but I think like as a woman in sport, we are able to nurture that ability just a little bit more, and it is amazing to see some of like these coaches like in the headlines these days, like they actually have a relationship with the athlete on top of being their coach, which is really inspiring as well.
And it's a fine line, right?
Yes.
A relationship, but then
very fine line.
Relationship. Dan Hawkins was our last motivational speaker, and that is your football coach's father. And he was phenomenal. He talked about how, boy, he's been coach of the year and he's been fired 3 times, right? Like, I mean, he's been on both ends. And what he did 20 years ago would not work today. And you have to balance. So you're absolutely right. It just really, that coaching aspect, it is difficult and it is unappreciated, and there's a special place in heaven for coaches. I truly believe that.
Yes.
And if you have a transformational coach, a positive coaching, you know, mindset, you'll have somebody that will not only be invited to your wedding, but will be, you know, impactful for years to come that you don't even know.
Yeah. Coaching can be your whole life. And it's amazing like what can come out of it. So along with that, just to kind of wrap things up a little bit, is there any last remarks or like last things you want to leave with our listeners today?
So I thought about this, Laney, so I'm actually going to kind of read this just because I did think about this. And everybody has their story, right? If it's played or didn't play, or, you know, I watched a young man love basketball so much and would do anything to be on the court and didn't get on the court very much. But then go to a college and be a manager and actually get some scholarship funding at a very high-end college. And he is fulfilling his every dream because it's not about just being on the court. It's about being a part of it.
Yeah.
And how, you know, that will always play in my head about how as much as you love the sport, you don't have to be the star player or in the game. You can be just supporting it and changing it and being a part of it.
Yes.
And so my last remarks would be, sport has the power to shape lives far beyond the field or court. If we continue to lead with integrity, courage, and care for people, the influence of athletics will reach generations to come. And I have those generations coming, right?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, Tonya's amazing in what she's done. I think you can hear it in her voice and her story. She loves athletics. She loves what she does. And she wants to continue to change that even though you said you're retiring in a year. That doesn't mean it's over for her. She's going to continue to do what she loves, and I think that's also another beautiful part of her story, and it's also very inspiring to me. I hope it's inspiring to you guys. I just want to thank you again for coming and sharing your story with us. So this wraps up our first episode of Hear Her Story. I hope you enjoyed listening to Tonya's story as much as I did. I hope you also tune in next week to listen to our next episode where you get to hear about another story of another outstanding woman in our local community. Once again, I'm Laney Forsmann, and this is Hear Her Story.